Hey guys, if this is working, I guess we'll find out sooner or later. I'm assuming it is. Let me check out my audio. I guess we'll find out. Okay, so we're live right now, and I just wanted to do this because I felt as though this would be a little bit better than just like throwing out a video or something. That was weird. The fuck. Anyway, my camera went full retard. Anyhow, we're gonna be talking about Conor and Floyd right now because I watched that fucking fight, and obviously, if you followed my channel enough, I like the UFC. I wanted Conor to win, of course. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and act like I didn't. But everybody talked about this fight as if it was going to be this weird, like, nobody's going to try to fight each other, nothing's going to happen, it's going to be completely whitewater, it's going to suck. Like, it was funny in that instance because I was sitting here as somebody who's watched a lot of Conor's fights, like a ton of Conor's fights, a good number of Conor's fights I've seen. I've watched, like, admittedly, I haven't watched hardly any of Floyd's fights, but in the coming weeks of the fight, there were people that were streaming Floyd's, his fights. And they were like, can Conor McGregor handle this? I don't know if any of y'all saw those videos on YouTube, but there were streams of it, and you could watch all of his fights, basically. So I was watching Floyd's fights, and I was like, man, Conor could be a fucking problem for him. Like, legitimately could be a problem for him for many reasons. Number one, Floyd, in certain fights, he'll hold up his right hand to his face and leave the left open, or he'll hold up his left hand to the left side of his face and keep his right side open. And he did a good job in this fight against Conor. But when I was watching those fights, I was like, holy shit, he leaves a big hole open depending on which side it is. Like, which side he knows your power hand, he'll know your power hand. He won't leave that side open, but he'll leave the other side open. And it's like, wow, that could be a problem for him. Number two, I thought that Conor would come in a more, like, MMA type style of moving around. I thought he was going to have a wider stance. I didn't think he was going to come anywhere near as close to him as I really ended up seeing. Like, it didn't seem like he was gonna just charge in the way that he did, which obviously that was the better call. He should have charged in the way that he did. Now let me get to my point. My point is, when I was watching this fight, I was thoroughly entertained, number one. Number two, I thought Conor did way fucking better than what he should have, considering the circumstances. This is one of boxing's best fighters of all time. One of the best defensive boxers of all time. And Conor was slipping out a right-hand jab the whole fucking night and was hitting him almost every fucking time with it. There was never really a time where I saw Floyd, like, do the typical shit that Floyd does, where he just is a ghost in there. He was not a fucking ghost in there fighting Conor. He just wasn't. Conor could hit him really at any time he really chose to. The only times that he was having a problem, Conor was when, Floyd would duck down, and when he would duck down, he would be moving his head. He's known for his great head movement. That's the only time that I was noticing it being a problem, is when Floyd would bend down and try to miss the shots, because Conor was headhunting a little bit too much. And he would bend down. But it only happened like 3 or 4 times in that fight. So it wasn't that extremely noticeable. Like, everybody makes it out to seem right now, on YouTube comments specifically, everybody's making it out like Floyd completely destroyed Conor. Which, yeah, I can almost agree. I can almost see it. where Conor was just getting slow, he was getting tired, and then he wasn't being able to move out of the way of shots. His power wasn't working as well as it was in the first, 4 rounds when he really was having power still. Like, even when he was wobbly in the fourth, because of fatigue, he was still being able to hit Floyd pretty well. Like, it wasn't like a complete barn burner of a fight to me. It really wasn't. It was way more competitive than I thought it was going to be. Way more competitive. I mean, I thought Conor would come in there and possibly knock him out. I really did. I thought if he was going to knock him out, that was going to be his best chance to finish the fight or to win. I thought, okay, if he comes in and he knocks him out, it's going to be, it'll be surprising, but it won't be like the craziest way to win that fight. You know what I mean? That would probably be the least crazy way to win the fight. At least in my opinion, that's how I feel. But nobody's ever knocked out Floyd. Nobody's really ever hurt Floyd. The only time that there's ever been a knockdown on Floyd that should have been, a knockdown, and there's another knockdown that isn't a knockdown, and they called it a knockdown. They gave him a count, which was retarded. They shouldn't have given him a count for it. But one fight, he did get fucking hurt, and he did drop to his right hand. His right hand hit the floor, and that should have technically been, a knockdown. But they didn't call it a knockdown for that fight, basically, is what I'm telling you. Floyd is an exceptional boxer. He's good at what he does. He is an amazing boxer. He's amazing at head movement. He's amazing at just moving in general. And his counterpunching skills are really good. And I knew that coming into this fight, especially for Conor, whenever Conor tries to go out there and he's trying to get a knockout, it usually doesn't happen. It usually doesn't happen. Conor is exceptional at getting somebody to make a mistake, making them come in instead of him coming in. Because if you remember, if you know anything about fighting and you've watched Conor's fights, the first fight with Nate Diaz, right, didn't go so well with him. He tried to charge in. He was overextending on his punches. He was trying to dispatch Nate very early. He was trying to get rid of him very quickly. And he would charge in completely extended all the way out, elbow locked, extended, trying to hit him from really far away. And he was doing a good job hitting him. Like, he would still hit Nate. He would still do pretty well. But it ended up gassing him out. In this fight, he kind of did the same things. If he really, wanted to find some openings, he should have tried to force some sort of action to make Floyd come forward. Which Floyd is too smart for that shit. He's not going to come forward. He basically had two choices. Number one, knock his fucking ass out by charging in and maybe land something lucky. Or number two, try to make it to 12 rounds and see if you can steal some rounds there at the end. So it was surprising to me that it was so not fucking one-sided. It was not a one-sided fight. After round 5, it kind of became one-sided. It was like Conor was trying to move out of the way, but even when he was getting hurt and getting hit, he was still landing shots, dude. And we're talking about a boxer who is considered to be the best boxer of all fucking time. Defensively, he's the best that's ever been. Offensively, you can kind of, you can find a lot better people. Mike Tyson, for sure, way better than him offensively. There's a bunch of fighters. Pernell Whitaker, way better offensively than Floyd Mayweather. By far, he's not one of the best offensive boxers of all time. He's the best defensive boxer of all time, no questions asked. He knew what he had to do to beat McGregor. He knew that he had a kind of shitty gas tank. He knew he wasn't going to be able to keep up with him later in the rounds. But man, when I saw Conor hit him with a fucking uppercut, I about fucking nutted. Because I was like, holy shit, he hit him with a pretty big uppercut. Like, it was a pretty big uppercut. And I was like, damn, he could put him to bed if he landed something really clean with that left hand. Really clean, like as clean as can be. If he would have been able to hit him, he would have put him on the ground. Because Floyd is too small. He technically was too small. And that goes for two reasons. He was too small, number one. If Conor would have hit him right, he would have been done for. And number two, he's too small for Conor. He's just too small. He's too small as in Floyd can get away with his gas tank. He can let him punch himself out for the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. You know, let him punch himself out and then come get him later. That's exactly what Floyd did. There were a lot of reasons why Conor shouldn't have taken this fight, and there were a lot of reasons why to take this fight. Number one, he made MMA look good. He really did. I think, of course, it was about money. For sure it was about money. Conor wanted to make a lot of money. He made a lot of money tonight. But he also, more or less, thought he could truly beat that motherfucker. And I think he could have too. I really do. I think he could have beaten Floyd if he would have knocked him out. For sure. He's too powerful. He's too good in the opening rounds to not beat Floyd. He just is. He's too powerful. He's too quick. He's too accurate. All that great stuff. But when you watch that fight and you're just like, oh, okay, well, you know, it was sad that that's the way it happened. No, of course not. He made mixed martial arts look good. He made mixed martial artists look like they are legitimate at boxing. They can actually box somebody who is extremely good at boxing, because that shouldn't have been anywhere near as close as people made it out to be. Like Floyd would just dispatch him in like 20 seconds at the beginning of the fight. Like he would be too much. The media made it out to be that Floyd is this monster that can just be a ghost. People made Dominic Cruz in mixed martial arts to be described as that he was a ghost. There's no way that anybody was going to find out his pattern, his fluidity. You wouldn't find out how to land that perfect shot to fucking hit him and drop his ass. And then you got Cody Garbrandt came in and made him look like shit. Made him look shitty. Was dancing around him, was hitting him from any which angle that he really felt like it. And Cody's got a fucking massive right hand. He's very, very strong compared to Dominic Cruz. People made out Dominic to be basically the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, and he got beat. Conor could have easily fucking done that same shit. Cody could have easily knocked out Dominic Cruz in their fight when they fought. Floyd is not a ghost, and Conor showed that he is not a ghost. Not as much of a ghost as people make him seem to be, because there were legitimate experts. Max Killerman, he sat there and said with conviction that Conor would not lay a hand on Floyd at all, would not be able to hit him. That's fucking nonsense, because I'm pretty sure Conor ended up hitting Floyd over 250 fucking times. And was jabbing his face off with a simple little right hand jab. Was breaking through the gloves, bopping him right in the fucking face. Easily made himself look way better than he should have. Easily. But Floyd is a fucking master. He's a master. Let him tire himself out. I'm going to come and I'm going to get him. And he did. He did get him. It was a TKO victory. I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, that's nothing. I'm not. Because Floyd did so well that, like, he's too smart. He's too smart at that one craft. He really is. He's too smart. But, you know, I can't sit here and be all fucking mad about it. I can't. I had a great time watching that fight. I came in wanting somebody to win, and I went out being like, it was really good. I'm glad that I spent that time and effort to watch that fucking fight. it was a good fight. Anybody who says that it wasn't a good fight or something, that it wasn't competitive, it wasn't interesting, whatever the fuck you want to say, or whatever these goobers want to fucking say in YouTube comments on posts about Conor or posts about Floyd or whatever, that wasn't a really entertaining fight. It was way too competitive for what it should have been. The way that everybody made it seem like it was going to be was, oh, Conor's not going to be able to do shit. Floyd is going to get knocked out. It's not going to be any sort of contest. It's just not true. At the end of the day, just not true. We saw it. If you watched it, you saw it. It was a really, really textbook example of why you need to get better. Because Conor came in as a 0-0 boxer and came in and fought one of the most defensively sound boxers of all time. There are no doubts that Floyd is one of the best boxers defensively of all time. And not only did he do well and could have hurt Floyd, could have. Somebody's going to say, well, he didn't. He could have. He really could have. But if he would have hurt him, that would have been even a win in itself. But he made it to round fucking 10 and got too tired and started getting hit. Started getting hit too much. And they really should, like, I do agree with what he said in the post-fight interview with Showtime. I really do believe that they should have let him drop to the ground and give him a 10 count at least and then see what the fuck happened. They were really quick to stop that fight. I thought that it was a shitty stoppage. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. But coming in as a 0-0 boxer and doing anywhere near as well as he did means that motherfucker is good. He's just good. He's a good boxer. Number one, his MMA boxing is top-notch in mixed martial arts. His straight-up boxing could be even better. He will absolutely learn from his mistakes in this fight. He will get on a bike, I hope to God, and start getting to work on his cardio, because if he doesn't, then that's stupid. Then that's ignorant. If he doesn't get his ass on the horse and try to figure out what he did wrong in that fight, he can easily take what he learned from this fucking boxing fight into mixed martial arts. He's already got an idea of how to push somebody back. He can do a spinning heel kick. He can do a fucking anything. He's really good at mixed martial arts distance control. He's really good at, getting that left hand to hit where it needs to hit in mixed martial arts. You can be so far away in mixed martial arts and still land something. But he needs to work on that cardio, dog. And now that he added in that jab, man, that jab was so fucking good. His right-hand jab really surprised me, because I was sitting there watching it and I was like, holy shit, that right-hand jab is on fire. He could fuck him up with that right-hand jab. And he could keep his distance from him if he kept using it. After a while, when he got tired, he stopped using that right-hand jab, because there was basically no point at that point. He was getting swallowed because of how tired he was. But I'm going to go ahead and read chat, because fuck it. We are live, aren't we? Yeah, we are. I lost $300 on McGregor. Jesus Christ, dude. That's why you don't bet for fights, dude. Just be a fan and watch the shit. I didn't pay to see the fight, so I haven't seen it yet. Damn, that sucks, bro. I'm sorry. He should have paced himself. It might have turned out different, but yeah, I was shocked he went that long. Exactly, that's my point. If he would have paced himself a lot better than what he did. Like, I remember when he came out in the first and second round, he was very, very patient. He was very patient. He was doing what he needed to do. He was patient. He was trying to do something, but I think it was the second round. It was the second round. He came out and immediately just swarmed Floyd. And, dude, Floyd has been in that position so many times, it doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to knock him out at the beginning of the fucking round. You're just not going to do it. So when I was seeing him charging in, I was like, dude, why don't you just stand on the outside and just kind of wait a little bit? See what the fuck he's going for. See what the fuck he's doing. Instead of just charging right in and immediately trying to box his face off. because it just didn't make any sense. I was actually kind of pissed off about the corner work that they had for him. I don't know what they were telling him in the corner, but whatever they were telling him was not fucking right. You know, like, he should have been more to the outside and charge in whenever he wanted to, but not at the beginning of the fucking round and exert all your energy immediately. It was not smart. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. I have no idea. They were trying to hope that if they could, I would assume this is why they did it, but they were trying to hope that if they charge in and hit him with something really quick, Floyd that is, Conor hits Floyd with something very quickly, and somehow that staggers him or some shit, hurts him in any way, shape, or form. It hurts his face, I don't know, he's got to touch his hand, or touch his face with his hand, whatever. You know, they must have been thinking, okay, this will open up an opening for him, and, you know, Conor will be able to capitalize for it, but that is not what happened. I'm assuming that's why they did it. But, you know, whatever. It was an 800 plus on TKO win. That's fucking crazy, dude. I don't think Conor knew the pace. I don't think that Conor knew the pace. I don't know, man. Honestly, I got respect for Conor, too, for being able to stay in it. Yeah, dude, it was pretty fucking nuts, man. I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, dude, how is he... He should have been out by, like, round 7. Round 7. He should have been out of there. If Floyd would have pushed the pace in round 7, it would have been over very quickly. But I think cynically, I think he wanted to be able to go into the later rounds with Conor, because Floyd knows he's not going to knock nobody out nowadays. He just can't do it. His hands are too fucked up. He's broken his hands too many times. He doesn't have that much power against a big guy like that. You're not going to be able to go in there and knock somebody out who is way fucking bigger than you. And Conor looked humongous in comparison to Floyd. Their height was pretty much the same, but Conor was looking like a fucking giant in there. Just how wide he was, he looked way bigger. But if Floyd goes in there and tries to start immediately hurting him, he's not going to hurt him. So he had to wait for him to get fatigued. And I also believe that Floyd was like, okay, if I put him away too early, then people are going to be like, well, he had 3 rounds to 2, and then you got lucky and knocked him out. I think that was his idea about it. But it's pretty surprising that Floyd got a fucking TKO in 2017, because Floyd hadn't really done anything that spectacular in years. It really brought something out in Floyd. Do people understand that? Floyd had to push to hurt this guy, and he still technically didn't even hurt him. It was mostly fatigue, and it really was. You could see it building from round fucking 5 till round 10. He was really hyperventilating in the fucking corner after round 9, too, if any of y'all saw that. He was sitting there staring off into space, and they were fucking rubbing that ice on him, and he probably thought, okay, if I don't get something to happen in this round, which is why I think he came out so tough in the 9th and 10th round, then he knew he wasn't going to win the fight, because he's too tired. He's just too tired. So, but, you know, Floyd is too smart for that shit. He knows if he charges in round 7 and tries to take him out, people are going to say, oh, that was bullshit. You know, Conor was doing way better, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, even if it would have went the full distance, which I was shocked when I saw I was shocked for different reasons. I was shocked to see that there were 3 fucking judges, that one judge gave Conor 1 round. 1 round, guys. 1 round. And then one judge gave Conor 2 rounds. And another judge gave Conor 3 rounds. Dude, he easily won 4 or 5 fucking rounds in that fight. Easily. First 2 for sure. 3rd for sure. 4th, 5th, and then from then on, it was Floyd. You could really make an argument for either one of those gentlemen for 4 or 5, but 6 on was Floyd, for sure. I think, personally, myself, Conor won 4 rounds in a fight against the number 1 boxer in the world. So for people to sit there and say, you know, Conor doesn't have any sort of boxing skills, he's not good, he's shitty, it's just retarded. So it's just, I was so pissed off when I was sitting there reading in the comments, like, people were like, man, Floyd kicked Conor's ass. And it's like, okay, listen, yeah, he did, but for what reasons? For what reasons did he win multiple rounds? Was it because Conor was tired? Or was it because Floyd was just that much better? Because for me personally, I don't think Floyd would have come on as strong or anywhere near as strong if Conor would have been able to keep up that pace that he had. If Conor was able to fight like how he fights at the beginning 3 or 4 rounds of a fight and able to carry it on into the 5th, fucking round, which I guess in boxing, we can talk about boxing for a minute. If he were able to keep that pace for enough fucking time, dude, he probably would have won that fucking fight. I'm just saying. That's how I feel about it. He could win a decision if he got his cardio up. He would still fall off. I mean, you're not going to be able to find, 12, 13 fucking rounds out of yourself when you fight like he does. Because he fights too strong. His hands are too heavy. He's trying to whip out that fucking left hand way too fast. The way that he fights is it's all power and all speed at once. He doesn't make a decision between both shots. Like, if he throws 2 shots, both of them are going to be 100%. He's not going to throw a 50 out there and then come back with a 75 and then later on come back with a 25. He's just not that way, man. Every punch that he throws is specifically, I want to push in your fucking shit and I want you to get knocked out because of it. So, I really do think that if they got his cardio just a little bit better, he would have fallen off in the 11th round, or shit, not the 11th round, like the 8th round, maybe. If he falls off even in the 7th round, he would have been much better off. He could have won that fight. Not only the boxing world wouldn't give him a decision win over Mayweather, it's just not going to happen. But in the eyes of the fans, he would have gotten fucking ripped off, which is what I truly believe. Hey, bud, I'm up at 3 a.m. watching, my man. Oh, that's fucking cool, dude. You're a cool guy. But, dude, it was so depressing. It was so depressing to see how fucking stupid people are in YouTube comments. Like, it really is. On Twitter, people were Twitter's kind of a fucking idiot graveyard. Where, like, you don't see most of the idiot shit. You see mostly that was a great fight, blah, 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 because, people aren't as stupid on Twitter, I've come to notice. But that's not in all cases. But YouTube commenters are really fucking stupid. Like, Conor got his ass beat. No. Trust me, Reddit is worse. I agree, dude. I've seen... Reddit is fucking retarded half of the time. But, I was just so surprised to see so many people acting as if, like, Conor got completely destroyed in the entire fight. And that is just not what fucking happened, dude. It's just not. Sorry. I didn't see that. I know if other people saw it, that's cool with me, dude. Like, if you think you saw somebody getting destroyed for, like, 9, 10 rounds, either you haven't watched fights before, which I believe, that's what I truly think is going on. I think people don't like Conor, and then they see him on the internet, and they're like, oh, he's a piece of shit. He's an asshole. He only knows how to talk and not fight. And then they were immediately like, okay, I'm going to watch him fight one of the best boxers in the world. I think that's what happened. Like, a lot of stupid people came out of the woodwork, but that's just me. A lot of fucking stupid people. I only heard it was a close fight. It was a close fight. I mean, it wasn't incredibly close, but Conor definitely did, like, he did way better than he should have. Like, way better. Shouldn't have been anywhere near as close as he was to Floyd. I mean, Floyd does that shit where he waits, like, you know, 2 or 3 rounds, 2 or 4 rounds, somewhere in between there, and then comes in and he already has you figured out by then. He knows what you're doing. He knows where you're looking. He knows when the hand is coming. He can tell when you twitch, and he'll come in and charge, and he'll hit you, and then he'll back the fuck up. He immediately gets out of the way of that shit because he doesn't want to keep doing that. He doesn't want to keep putting himself in danger. He is a very low risk fighter. But that's me. It almost looked like Mayweather wasn't trying at the start of the fight. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, man. But I mean, yeah, that's what he does. He fucking waits until he finds that rhythm of what the fuck he was doing. Because Conor was doing crazy shit. I'm sure he was doing weird shit that he had never seen before. I mean, he was in the first fucking round. Like, that's one thing that I don't understand why people are saying. I get that he's slower in the first round or so, because you kind of have to be in that situation. Like, you do have to wait and see what's going on and, you know, let him tire himself out, basically. But, I mean, dude, why, like, answer me this. If you were in a street fight with somebody and you're just like, okay, we're going to fight. I'm going to use my hands. You're going to use your hands. Let's fucking fight. Are you going to wait 2 fucking minutes into the fight to start fighting? No, man. That's not how combat sports fucking works. He was watching him for sure. He was watching him. But, dude, in the third round, they were throwing at each other really fucking hard. Even in the second round, like a minute into the second round, they were going after it. And then in the fourth and fifth, they were really going after it. And either of those rounds could have gone to either fucking man if you have a legitimate, you know, team of fucking scorers. You know, like if the fight was scored fairly the way that Showtime did, which Showtime was really fair about their you know, their scorecard. Like, it's just, I mean, Showtime gave Conor the 8th round. Like, they gave him the 8th round and said he won that round. And I was like, what the fuck? That's fucking crazy. How did he win the 8th round? And then when I went back and watched the 8th round, like, he definitely won the 8th round. Like, he came back and had something for him. He was attempting to move out of the way. He was hitting him with big shit. He was landing a lot more than Floyd was in that round. But, I mean, 6th, 7th round, completely out of it. 9th, 10th round, completely out of it. But the first 5 were up for grabs. The first 3 were Conor. 4th and 5th were up for grabs. 7th, 6th, those were fucking, you know, Floyd all day. 8th, I don't really know. I'd have to watch it again. And then the 9th and 10th were Floyd. I mean, Conor did exceptionally well for the circumstances. And I don't see how you can make the argument of, oh, he didn't show up for the first 3 rounds, because that's fucking horseshit. He was throwing shit. It's just Conor was able to find that shit that he needed to do. He fought the first and second rounds completely fucking different. They were not the same. First round he came out, he was being a lot more precise of where he was throwing, what he was doing, how he was managing distance, how he was throwing the right hand jab, and then that was opening up the left. But he was never able to capitalize on that, and it kind of made me sad. But, you know, Conor was doing all the right things, in my opinion. That's how I feel. I don't know. Whatever. Who the fuck am I, right? Anyway. Mayweather kept ducking. I think if he could have caught him with an uppercut, it would have been over. Yeah, that's what I was saying too, man. Conor wasn't able to, like, figure out what the fuck he was ducking for, and he wasn't able to hit him. But even when you hit somebody with an uppercut when they duck down, you're not necessarily going to hit him, because Floyd does that crazy shit where he'll duck down to the left and then he'll duck down to the right and all that great shit. Like, he's super good at knowing what the fuck is going to happen. If he ducks straight down, yeah, he's going to get uppercutted. He's going to get hit in the top of the fucking dome while he's kneeling down like that, or slouching down. Floyd is too smart for that shit. If I was in a street fight, oh wait, I am Canadian. True. I was never really a fan of Conor, but he definitely earned my respect tonight. He did really well against one of the greatest ever. That's what I wish there was more of. Because listen, man, I'm not trying to ride Conor's dick or anything, but your comment, what you just said, is how I wish people would have said after the fight. Like, Conor, especially if you came in unbiased. I mean, I came in wanting Conor to win, but I was watching it as a fan of fighting, of hand-to-hand combat sports. I was coming in being like, okay, obviously Conor's got a fighter's chance, but if he's really lucky, he knocks him out. If not, Floyd is going to devastate him. I just want to see what happens. And when I was watching it, I was like, wow, Conor did really well. At the end of it, I was like, man, he gave it a good fucking college try. Like, he really did attempt to get better. Not only was he better than he should have been, but he got better since the Alvarez fight that he had in the UFC. He did a lot of shit in that fight that I've never seen him do before. And he will take that back to mixed martial arts. I mean, he is probably one of the best strikers that the mixed martial arts community has, number one. And number two, if that motherfucker could get a gas tank on him, if he could get a little bit of cardio training, I mean, dude, take like 2 or 3 months out of your life. Just go run, man. Go run. Figure the shit out. Then he would be pretty unstoppable, I would think. Especially in the UFC. He would be pretty good. I don't think a lot of people would be able to deal with that shit. But, that's me, man. That's just how I feel. So, I don't know. Fuck it, right? But, let's see. Yeah, fuck. That's what a lot of people were saying, too, actually, which is funny that you said that. People were saying that Conor was running around in the fucking fight. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Did you see how tired he fucking was? I mean, when he did it in the Nate Diaz fight, he was much more tired in that fight. Much tired. In the Nate Diaz fight than he was in the Floyd fight. I mean, in the 10th round when he was really slow, I mean, yeah, he was definitely slower than the Diaz 2 fight. But the difference between Floyd and Diaz is that Floyd is smart enough to go and jump on that situation and really try to finish it. Nate didn't do shit in that fucking fight. Didn't do nothing to try to come in there when he was tired and trying to win that fucking fight. Didn't do shit, man. Didn't do anything. And it was so... it's so funny because that shit still makes me laugh, like, even today. He just didn't do anything. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, he needs to work on his cardio for sure. Like, he really does. It's pretty wild, man. It doesn't make any sense to me how you can be that good at one specific thing. Like, in mixed martial arts, he's really good at striking. His takedown defense is his jiu-jitsu is... And, his kicking and punching are really good. Really good. But he still hasn't put in that effort to go out and run and figure it out. Like, I want to know how many miles he can run in one sitting. I really do. Because either he needs to get a better cardio or he needs to fight way different than he is now. Way different. It's just, it's weird. I don't know why his coach hasn't gotten on him. John Kavanaugh should be screaming at his fucking ass. Go outside and go run, you fatty. But, whatever. Oh, Jesus. I know this is off topic, but what do you think of the John Jones situation? Oh, Jesus, man, don't even get me started. I almost made a video the other day about it because I was mad. I was really mad. I was like, what the fuck? When I was watching that fight, I wanted DC to win, for sure. Like, I wanted DC to keep his belt, and it would have been such a better... It would have been such a better story, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. Daniel has always played it by the book. He's always been right on time. He's always done the right things, And when you watch Jones and DC fight, like, for the first time, DC did moderately well. You know, he didn't win that fight for sure. He didn't win that fight. He got pretty handed. But when he beat, you know, Jesus, I almost forgot his name. Or did I forget his name? Oh, no, there's no way. Anthony Johnson. Jesus Christ. When he beat Anthony Johnson after Jones got fucking kicked out, he looked great. And then when he came back and fought Alexander Gustafsson, he looked fantastic. His striking had gotten considerably better. And he was better in the clinch than he was against John, which was pretty surprising because that was the strongest part of his fight with John Jones back in 2015. He was very, very good in the clinch. He got even better in the clinch for Alexander Gustafsson. And then, you know, DC fights, you know, Anthony Johnson again and looked even better than the first Anthony Johnson fight. Was able to move out of the way, was able to do whatever. Then you come into the final fight, or technically the final fight, with Jones, and he looked great. He was, in my opinion, he won that fight until he got kicked in the fucking head, you know? But the mistake that he made, which they were talking about it in the fight camp, Jones was, it was like he likes to lean off to the side and leave his head open. And they worked on it that entire fight. Jones was working on it. He was kicking him in the tummy and then hoping that he would lean down and get kicked in the fucking head. So he was kicking him in the stomach, so he immediately thought, oh, okay, I'm going to get kicked in the stomach. I'm going to hunch over so it doesn't hurt as much. And then he got kicked in his fucking head, and then the brutal ground and pound. Like, but then you find out John fails his drug test pre-fight. Which, it really doesn't surprise me. The way that he looked, even at the press conference, John, he looked fucking jacked. Like, he looked jacked. It was crazy. He looked bigger than he's ever been. He looked bigger than he did in the Ovince St. Preux fight. And I was like, how the fuck is he that jacked? And then you put two and two together, you're like, oh, he's been out for a while and he's had all this time, and then he started doing the weightlifting. So, you know, he was basically doing what convicts do. Just go out and fucking wrestle. Exercise. Get bigger, you know, look good. And, I mean, he looked great. Then he gets popped. If I were DC, I would fucking sue the bastard, is what I'd do. I would sue him, and then I would request for my title to be back because I just got beat by somebody who cheated. But everybody's sitting there saying it's a setup for Jones. That he got set up, and that they were like, okay, yeah, you know, if he got set up, then, you know, the UFC is fucked, and USADA is bullshit and whatever. I don't think he got set up, because the way that fighters have explained it, it's you and one other guy in a room, and he's handling your piss, and that's that one guy. It's one person always handling your fucking piss. It's never multiple people. So unless one guy fucking tainted his piss, which they will know exactly who it is if he did it, I don't know, man. They get paid too much to risk that shit. USADA members, people within USADA get paid a fuckload of money to do what they do. I don't think they would risk their entire fucking... More than likely, if you get dropped by USADA, you're never going to get a job anywhere else and make anywhere near that money. I don't think somebody would risk their entire career. It's just weird that people are that stupid. I mean, he didn't get fucking set up. He tried to fucking mask the shit for a really long time, the entire fight camp, and then, you know, he just got fucking lazy or something. Just got lazy. Didn't take the masking agent that he was using to mask the steroids. I'm pretty sure that people don't understand that when you use steroids, your muscles don't just like shrink or anything. You don't lose your muscle mass immediately, like if you're not on the juice or something. That is a common misconception that is very fucking strange. I don't know where it came from, but that's not how it works. If you take steroids, it's gonna fucking last, man. It's gonna last a really long time. It'll take like a good year and a half to lose all that muscle mass if you do absolutely nothing. But this is a guy that trains all the time, every day, weightlifting, training for fights, fighting in general, and then even when they're off, when they're not fighting, they're still exercising, man, and he eats good. You know, he ain't gonna lose that muscle mass. And the type of steroid that he used was used for a short burst. So to me, that means he had a masking agent. He was using it for a very short period of time to make sure that he was extra big, extra strong for that fight, and then he would go back to business as usual because he knows that DC is his hardest fucking competitor in that division. Explain to me why that doesn't make sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, please explain it to me. Because I'm not arguing with you. I'm just answering your question, and I'm answering it very passionately because I feel passionate about that subject. Because how does that not make sense? I need to get bigger, LOL, I am skinny. Yeah, okay, Mr. Skeleton. Skeleton. Anyway. Anyway, guys, I think I'm gonna go, so I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Oh, actually, there's another one. I'm not surprised of all this drug use in martial arts and boxing. I mean, it's more intimidating to see a big guy. It's not only that, it's just you get stronger, man. You get bigger, you get stronger. You know, if your cardio's good, for sure you use it because it gets you bigger, it gets you stronger. I mean, for Jones, his cardio has always been fantastic. I've never seen him, you know, gas out ever. For somebody like Jones, I mean, it makes perfect sense to me, but that's just me, man. I don't know. And there's not a lot of drug use in boxing. You'd be surprised. Or, well, actually, they don't have any sort of drug testing rules. I mean, they do, but they don't. They don't have any, like, legitimate drug testing shit. I don't know. It's weird. But either way, I'm gonna go, guys. Thanks for coming out to the live stream. I'll try to do these more often. I would think maybe for some UFC fights, so I can actually like get to talk about something that I know pretty well. So anyway, I will talk to y'all later.